I want to introduce the 45th President of the United States, the Republican nominee for this year's presidential election, Donald J. Trump. Welcome.
Trump holds a town hall in my home state of Georgia. All right, y'all, before we get started, go down there below, hit that like button real quick. Go ahead, hit it. Go ahead, hit it. There you go. There you go. Appreciate it. Now hit the subscribe button. There you go. All right, appreciate it. Now on to the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, Trump sat down with Harris Faulkner from Fox News and held a woman-only town hall in the great state of Georgia, my home state. However, yesterday was Georgia's first day of early voting, and Georgians showed up in mass droves by beating the previous record of 137,000 on first day of early voting back in 2020. They beat that yesterday, over doubled. Could that be a sign for Trump, or could it be a sign for Harris? We just don't know. It remains to be seen. Now, some of the Democratic leaders here in the state of Georgia, like, for example, the mayor of Atlanta and Senator Warnock, they decided to have their own virtual meeting of the minds, so to speak, during the same time Trump was sitting down at his town hall meeting. So I guess they decided to go on camera and continue to tell people that Trump is a danger to our democracy, which I just don't understand why they keep saying this. I mean, he's already been the president for 4 years. Everybody was prosperous. Everybody had money in their pocket. He did the right things. He did everything for the American people, but yet they continue to say that he's a danger to democracy. So they went on video today during Trump's town hall and decided to still criticize him, calling him out, and still continuously saying he's a danger to democracy. Check it out.
So I have to tell you,
Wow.
I'm getting a little taste of what it's like to roll with you. So early voting, just so you know, for the state of Georgia just began, and they're already at 250,000 people in early vote. That will break a record in the state. And I cannot believe how people come for you already. I don't know if you know this, but early voting is a sign that people are coming out, as you know, but it's also a sign that there might be a few people who have something to say. So I want to share with you Senators Warnock and Ossoff, Mayor Bottoms and Atlanta Mayor Bottoms, and Amba Thurman's family have come out on a press call, and they're doing what's called a pre-buttal 2-hour town hall right now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I want to
Get better ratings, I promise.
I want to get your reaction to something, because I was a little thrown aback about how quickly this fight would start. Oh, by the way, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota who wants to be the next vice president, his wife is showing up.
Where?
Tomorrow, here.
Sorry.
Yep, she has an issue with the women's issues town hall. All right, so let's take a look at what Senator Warnock had to say. I want to get, for the first time, former President Trump's reaction to what's going on here in Georgia. Let's watch.
If you to not vote is a vote. It's a vote for Donald Trump. It's to send this man one step closer to the White House, which finally, let me say, will be literally dangerous for so many of the people that we know. Dangerous, as we've demonstrated, for women. But this man, let me remind the black men who are listening, the men of color, communities of color, he will be dangerous.
So Warnock goes on camera and says that Trump is dangerous to women and black men. I don't get it. You had Obama the other day go out there and just basically disrespect black men. And Trump is now holding a town hall with nothing but women. And apparently Tim Walz's wife is just beside herself. She can't understand why she's got a problem with this only women thing. But Harris Faulkner, I mean, she even went in and said that, they were having this, rebuttal to their town hall meeting. Okay. And you could see Trump, he just sitting there, he just shrugged it off. He's like, we'll probably get better ratings. You probably will, to be honest with you. But then as the questions started to roll in from the women in this town hall, just before they started, Harris actually reached out to the audience and asked them, do you feel better about the economy today than you did 4 years ago? A raise of hands. Look at this.
So another show of hands. How many of you actually feel good about how the economy is right now? No.
Yeah.
You have our first question on the economy. We will start there. Your first name, please, and tell us your hometown.
My name is Lisa, and I live in the city of Milton. First of all, welcome back to Georgia, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
Americans are concerned about the state of our economy. Democrats argue that your policies favor the wealthy, especially through tax cuts for billionaires, while the middle class continues to struggle these last 3.5 years under the Biden-Harris administration. Could you outline your plans to revitalize the economy again as president and policies that specifically support the middle class when reelected?
Sure. Thank you very much. Great question. And sort of an easy question for me to answer because we have tremendous wealth in this country, but it's under our feet. It's called liquid gold. And we're going to bring down your energy costs. And with that, everything's going to follow. We're also going to make it possible for companies to come into our country again. We've lost so many businesses. If you're in furniture making, like in North Carolina, they're flocking out of our country because we have politicians that don't know what to do. We're bringing them all back. We have a tax rate that's going to lure them, and we're going to protect them with tariffs so they can make money and so they don't get stolen. But we're going to have record-setting jobs. And just to know, the advantage I have is that I've done it. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had never had an economy. And remember this, we also had the safest border in the history of our country. We never had a border that safe. The famous graph that I looked at, my all-time favorite piece of paper. Even my all-time favorite. I love that piece of paper. But that shows you, that day, the day I left office, the border was the safest it ever was in the history of our country. We had the fewest number of people. We have the least amount of drugs. Everything was human trafficking, which is now 12 times higher than it was when, and it's trafficking, I hate to say this, mostly in women. It's a vicious thing because of the internet and because of this administration, maybe more so than the internet. But we had the safest border. We had the best economy. Think of it, a combination of security and finance and all of the other things. And we're going to make it even better. We're going to make the border even better. But the border can't, we did things with the border that nobody could have done, including we built 571 miles of wall. And that wall worked. Then I got Mexico to give us soldiers, a lot of soldiers, 28,000 soldiers to protect us. I said, you have to protect us because you're letting all of these criminals come into our country. You have to protect us. They said, we're not going to do it. I said, good, then I'm just going to tariff all your goods until you do it. They said, like I said, we're going to do it. And they gave us the soldiers. So we had great protection, and we had the best economy in the history of our country.
Okay, let's get back.
Did you hear what that woman said when she asked that question? She asked that question, and at the end, she asked, what would you do when you are reelected as the president of the United States? I thought that was pretty funny. No, but listen, it comes down to energy. It comes down to the border. Those are the two main things that drive the economy right now. You've got people coming across that border by the millions. And of course, it's going to affect our way of life. It's going to affect everything. It's going to affect food. It's going to affect schools. It's going to affect jobs. It affects everything. And if we're not creating our own energy, good Lord, we cannot depend on our own energy. We have to, like Trump says, drill, baby, drill. Plain and simple. That's going to fix a lot of things. Everything derives from energy. Energy sets the standard. Plain and simple. Not only are they talking about immigration and inflation and the economy, but now, for some reason, some ungodly reason, people think it's okay for men to play in women's sports. I mean, what the hell? Check this out.
How many of you are worried about biological men and boys competing against women and girls in sports? Just show me. That's almost that is the entire room. And I know you have a question.
I do.
By the way, excuse me, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Your question, your name and your hometown.
My name is Linda, and I'm from Milton, Georgia.
Good.
But originally Brooklyn, New York.
Oh,
I'd get that in
good.
there. My question is, how do you plan on addressing the transgender issue in women's sports? I have 9 grandchildren, 6 of them female, all playing sports, and we are very concerned for their safety, not just on the field and the courts, but in their locker rooms as well.
Right. It's such an easy question, and everybody in the room, and you know that answer, we're not going to let it happen. You look, just yesterday, they had a volleyball match. Did you see that?
Yeah. Where
a person that transitioned, okay? We have to be very careful because this can terminate your political career if you say it's slightly off, all right? But transitioned from man to female and was on a volleyball. And I saw the slam. It was a slam. I never saw a ball hit so hard. Hit the girl on the head. But other people, even in volleyball, they've been permanently, they've been really hurt badly, women playing men. But you don't have to do the volleyball. We stop it. We stop it. We absolutely stop it. You can't have it. It's a man playing in the game. Physically, from a muscular state, even if it was a little bit less, maybe they do all sorts of tests and drugs and everything else. Look at what's happened in swimming. Look at the records that are being broken.
So how do you stop it? Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just
councils?
ban it. The president bans it. You just don't let it happen.
That's right. Just like the president said, you just ban it. I never thought we would come to the day that we would have to talk about men playing in women's sports. I never dreamed in my wildest dreams that we would ever be talking about men, biological men, playing in women's sports or competing in women's sports, just like the past Olympics. That's just disgusting. What kind of gratification do they get out of this? I can't even believe it's happening. Just like the sanctuary cities that we've got going on with the immigration. You got Venezuelan gangs taking over multiple apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, and nothing's being done about it. But I think President Trump, on day one, when he gets elected into office, he's going to figure it out, and it's going to be the mass deportation we've ever seen in our lifetime. Watch this.
Hi.
I'm Nancy. I'm from Milton, Georgia, originally from Ohio.
Good.
But go dogs. Yeah. And thank you for coming. Furthering the discussion on immigrant crime, along with liberal-run cities where crime is out of control. My son is a Georgia Bulldog. He was on campus the day Laken Riley was murdered. Terrifying for all those kids, right? I wanted to know, how quickly in a sanctuary city, like they're calling Athens, Georgia, how quickly can you remove those threats to our society so that our children can go out on a run, as they rightfully should be able to do, in a park in the daytime by themselves? It should not be like that. And also, I was wondering, I watch television all the time. I see your ads. I don't see a lot of vocalness about these sort of crimes, these hideous crimes in your promotion. So I'm wondering why that is.
Well, we are into it. First of all, we are going to end all sanctuary cities immediately. We're going to end them. Because they're really...
Is that an executive order you do that with?
I could do it with an executive order. I'll have to do it with an executive order. You can do it with the Aliens Act of 1798. We can do things in terms of moving people out. We can move them out of the sanctuary cities. You have some liberal, crazy people that they fight. Normally you like to understand the opponent. Like in business, you want to understand what is the opposites. Why do they want this? You want to try and figure why do they want open borders? Why do they want to do this? Why do they want sanctuary cities? Sanctuary cities are really meant for one thing, to protect criminals. That's what they've become. We're going to end all sanctuary cities in the United States, and we're going to go back to normalcy. And we're going to have law and order. We're going to we have to reinvigorate our police. We have great police. They're not allowed to do their job. If they do their job with gusto, which is what we want them to be fair. And you know, the sad thing is you'll always have a bad apple. And, you know, hundreds and hundreds of arrests. One bad arrest and it's on the front page of every newspaper. And these people are incredible. They want to do their job, just like the Border Patrol. They want to do their job. We're going to let them do their job. And I'm going to give them immunity. We're going to protect them because they do things and they end up getting sued. They lose their family. They lose their house. They lose their pension. They lose everything. The police officers in this country are law enforcement and sheriffs, everything else. They have to be given back their dignity. They want to do their job. But we become so politically correct. I mean, you look at New York and Chicago and LA and every city, all run by Democrats, okay? Liberal, stupid Democrats. No. And our country...
So, Mr.
Our
President,
country has lost its way. So it's a good question. In other words, we're going to have law and order.
I want to ask.
He's exactly right. Our country has lost its way. I mean, what good is it to have these sanctuary cities? Yes, we even have one here in Georgia. It's Athens, Georgia. What are we benefiting from having these sanctuary cities? Just say, come on in and just, you know, pick out a spot somewhere. I mean, unreal. Unreal. It cannot be explained. I mean, it's just the stupid leadership that we have running this country nowadays is just beyond me. And I know a lot of other people out there feel the same way about it. There is no need to have what we call a sanctuary city. Trump goes on and finishes up the town hall with the women. They talk about other topics such as abortion, where his stance is on abortion. And it's pretty familiar. Everybody's heard it. You know, he wanted it back in the States. They also talked about the IVF treatment. There was a couple questions on that. And where he stood on it. And the last question was on foreign policy. Now, Trump, he went on to say that, you know, we wouldn't be having these conflicts in the Middle East if he were still in office. And I would have to agree. When he was in office, we didn't have any war starting. The Middle East was peaceful, other than the fact of ISIS, and he took them out in a couple of weeks. But as soon as he got out of office, the first thing they did, meaning Biden and Harris, is, you know, the sudden withdrawal overnight from Afghanistan. That was a complete debacle. People died. I mean, you even had people jumping on airplanes as they were running down the runway to take off. And then they got so high, and then these people just fell off of it. I mean, it was a complete debacle. But anyway, I appreciate you guys listening tonight. That's going to do it for us. I appreciate it. And until next time.